Hi comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video, and something a bit different today. I I've just recently, one of the sellers I usually buy comics from had a couple of copies of the Magnet comic paper, dating from 1939. And he was selling them for £2.90. They were in an auction, £2.90. So I got two copies of this, the Magnet comic, for £2.90. And really in here we've got a bit of history. For those of you who don't know, the Magnet comic was produced between 1908 and 1940, and it featured, it was mainly about a boys' school, and about a boys' public school called Greyfriars, and stories about the characters attending Greyfriars School, the most famous of which is this character here, who is called Billy Bunter, the fat owl of the remove, who it said exemplifies 6 of the 7 vices, and he is described as the snaffler of other people's grub at Greyfriars School. He's a bounder. But there were a number of other characters at Greyfriars School. Bob Cherry, this guy up here, Harry Wharton, the school teacher called Quelch, all of whom at the time were extremely famous. Now the reason, one of the other interesting things is the reason this stopped publication in 1940 was because of the paper shortage during the Second World War. So if we open this up, we can have a look inside. Okay, so now it says here, this is actually part 4. This paper was produced weekly. Okay. And during its publication there were 1,683 copies produced. This one, it says down at the bottom, is number 1,612. So yes, this is right towards the end of the run of the Magnet, just before the start of the Second World War. And it says here that this is by Frank Richards. And Frank Richards was known as the author of these stories right throughout its run. However, Frank Richards was not a real person. It was the pen name for an author called Charles Harold St. John Hamilton, who just wrote all of this stuff throughout the period of time and continued to write about Greyfriars School and Billy Bunter after the Second World War, but not in this format. This story is an interesting one. It is a relatively famous story in which there is a secret message written on a cigarette case, and it says here, £1,200 have been stolen from the Lantham post office, and the hiding place to the loot remains a mystery until Mark Linley of the Greyfriars Remove succeeds in spotting the secret. Okay. The first page here is my own page by Gosling the School Porter. So there's a little sketch there of Gosling the School Porter, who is described as old and grumpy. I'm not going to read you what it says in some of this because this is from 1949, and the language used in 1949 is not the language we use these days. And appearing in the text here is a word that we don't use anymore, beginning with N. Right. So, and you can see we get about 5 or 6 really nice pieces of artwork illustrating the story. So we get this story about this message, which is written in Greek letters, and it finally gets interpreted by a clever chap in the remove who knows the Greek alphabet, and the letters have been written in Greek letters, but actually it's an English message, and it tells them where the money from the bank, from the robbery at the post office, has been hidden. Here we have Bunter with a manservant, and this is a Christmas. This story is 4 issues story, ran over the Christmas period, and as with most stories at Christmas, it's always snowing. So if it's Christmas at Greyfriars, it snows. Then we get this is quite fun. There's a thing here called Diary Dips, in which one of the characters, Peter Todd, writes down what he thinks the New Year's resolutions will be for a number of his classmates. Really funny, clever use of language. And again, we've got some more illustrations here. This is Mr. Quelch, the school teacher. You know, this is English public school in the 1940s, so if you misbehaved, you got a cricket ball thrown at you, or you got the cane. Also, one of the features of the magnet was that inside of it you'd get this thing which is called the Greyfriars Herald. So this is like the Greyfriars newspaper produced by the pupils at the school. So these articles are by members of the school, and it tells about various goings on at the school, written as if it was done by the pupils. Really clever, really nice, clever stuff, and you can see why this was such a popular comic at the time. And here we go. We have another thing here with somebody being bumped. Another one, they're out in the snow. And you know, as I said before, you know, this one is entitled Gay Games for New Year's Party. Well, in 1939, gay did not mean what it means today. So you know, this is a product of its time, and the language is the language from the time. So there we go, and you can see some adverts at the back. As one advert which is particularly interesting, and it's basically advertising for the Royal Navy. I'll just read what this says. It says Royal Navy, no previous experience required. An opportunity occurs for men between the ages of 17 and a half to 22 to enter as seamen for special services for 7 years service in the fleet and 5 years in the reserve, from the age of 18 or date of entry if above that age. Good food, good pay, good friends, a chance to see the world. Ask at the post office for a copy of The Boys' Navy as a Career and How to Join It. which gives full particulars and address of nearest recruiting officer. This was 1939, just before the Second World War. So I don't know how many young boys joined the Royal Navy as a result of this advert, and were in the Navy during the Second World War. Quite a few, I should imagine. I'm just going to flick to a page on the internet here, which is switch on here. Yeah, this is the author. This is from a biography of Charles Hamilton, otherwise known as Frank Richards, and he used to wear this black skull cap, and he did smoke he did smoke one of these pipes, Sherlock Holmes type pipes. There's a few pictures of copies of the comics that he worked on, and I think here we have got an image of the first Magnet comic book. So there we go. I'm going to switch back again. I hope you found it interesting. That's the Magnet comic from 1939. I did get a second one as well, but the story in it isn't as interesting as that one. This one's got Hacker the Hoarder in it, about it. So and again, of course, by Frank Richards. Okay guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Enough said.